For some people, there are the Olympics, the Oscars, or the Super Bowl. We all know there's only one competition that truly matters, though. The official CBR Best Anime Fights of the Decade! And the award for most talked about anime showdown goes to Goku vs. Jiren Dragon Ball Super. The new Dragon Ball franchise had really big shoes to fill following Dragon Ball Z. Also, it had really smelly shoes to make us forget about following the decanonized Dragon Ball GT. The beloved second series in the franchise delivered some of the most popular anime fight scenes of all time. The Goku vs. Frieza fight may be mostly responsible for America's anime obsession. Well, that and Cowboy Bebop. Most of the Dragon Ball Super showdowns fell short compared to the DBZ ones. Then there finally came a gray-faced menace named Jiren who gave us that Goku fight we were longing for. The fight had all the things you'd want from Dragon Ball. You couldn't go on the internet without hearing about it. The stakes were universal. The enemy was seemingly invincible and Goku had his new Ultra Instinct form on full display. Then they threw a twist at us by having Android 17 win the whole tournament and actually do something noble with his wish. Dragon Ball Super may have had some ups and downs, but man, did they stick the landing. And the award for Best Anime Superhero Showdown goes to All Might vs. All for One in My Hero Academia. The age of the anime superhero genre is bright, my friends. My Hero Academia has proven itself to be worthy of standing side by side with the legendary Marvel and DC universes. While those universes have legendary heroes like Superman and Captain America, My Hero Academia has All Might. From the very first episode, it was clear that All Might is the best of the best. Every great hero is incomplete without a great villain to match him. So in many ways, All Might didn't fully show his true heroic nature until he went up against his arch-nemesis All for One. It kind of felt like the climax of an awesome movie that we never got to see. All Might and All for One have a long history, and their last showdown was properly epic. The entire world was watching as the two staged the ultimate battle between good and evil. The whole thing ended with the two enemies going blow for blow until All Might swung around with his special punch, the United States of Smash. If All Might was a Smash Bros. Character, the United States of Smash would 100% be his ultimate smash. He would also be one of those new characters that Smash fans complain is way too overpowered and will get salty if you use him. They'd complain more about him than they do now about Joker. And the award for the most surprising anime fight scene goes to Saitama vs. Boros, One Punch Man. The One Punch Man fighting formula won over fans pretty early on, but it was starting to wear thin by the end of Season 1. It was pretty fun to watch Saitama one-hit overconfident bad guys, but we all wanted to see him actually have a real fight. Enter Lord Boros, who finally seemed like the guy who could challenge our favorite bald superhero. Turns out he really wasn't. Saitama may have only been humoring Boros in their big battle, but the alien monster pushed the anime to its very limits. The series showed that it could deliver a truly incredible fight without breaking the premise of its comically overpowered protagonist. The fight combined everything fans love about a good Dragon Ball Z brawl with all of Superman's best punch fests. It wasn't as long as some of the other legendary showdowns we've seen in anime history, but every second of it was a feast for the eyes. Ultimately, it ended the same way every One Punch Man fight does. Saitama delivered a supremely powerful blow that was so strong that it parted the clouds across half the planet. There was an underlying tragedy here for both characters, though. Boros admits his powers were no match for Saitama's, and our hero is still disappointed that he hasn't found a worthy challenge. How long do you think it'll be before Saitama fights a Goku parody who changes his hair every 10 seconds? Maybe that'll be his ultimate challenge. Nah, who are we kidding? And the award for the best fight scene in an American anime goes to Alucard vs. Dracula, Castlevania. This anime was probably the least likely hit in the history of the genre. Not only was it an American anime, but it was also a video game adaptation. Perhaps those two things canceled out each other because this show is just fantastic. The best moment thus far came from the surprise climax at the end of Season 2. Alucard, Trevor, and Sypha track down Dracula at last and have their big battle. What's surprising is that they actually win. It seemed like Dracula would be the series-long villain, but he ended up biting it in the second season. The moment that really makes this fight amazing isn't actually any of the attacks that are thrown, but Dracula's moment of realization. His fight leads into Alucard's old bedroom and Dracula stops. He realizes that he's actively trying to destroy the last piece of Lisa he has left. He then allows Alucard to finish him and finally grant him peace. It's a really beautiful moment that you really don't expect from a Netflix anime. I mean, you saw what they did to Neon Genesis Evangelion. And the award for Best Dramatic Fight Scene in a Long-Running Franchise goes to Naruto vs. Sasuke Naruto Shippuden. This was the moment the entire series was running towards. The long-awaited rematch between ninja best frenemies Naruto and Sasuke. They weren't just fighting it out though. No, this was about the fate of the ninja world, the philosophy of good versus evil, and Sasuke's very soul. It was also the best fight in the franchise and one of the best in anime history. Every single move and technique that the two expert ninja had learned was on full display. Razengans met Chidori's, Susanas met nine-tailed foxes, and monologue met other monologues. Do real fights often pause in the middle for each combatant to deliver a well-written speech on morality? MMA fights would definitely be better if they did. If this was an award show, this would be where Luffy would scream in anger and throw his straw hat on the floor as he left the theater. Sorry, you and Katakuri just don't have the history they do. It's nothing personal. And the award for Best Choreographed Anime Brawl goes to Eren vs. Reiner Attack on Titan. Look, there are a lot of incredibly structured anime fights out there. It's one of the main things the genre is known for. That being said, a lot of them can often devolve a bit into lots of energy blasts and quick cuts that display the character's super speed. Then there are the Titan fights in Attack on Titan. They are wonderfully choreographed feats of athleticism that feature mixed martial arts, wrestling, and ultimately a battle of wills. Arguably the best of these fights comes from Eren and Reiner's first fight in Attack on Titan Season 2. It has that extra layer of surprise considering the fact that it comes out of nowhere. Reiner just casually reveals that he's the armored Titan in the middle of the episode. Then boom, the entire show changes. Suddenly, Eren is in the fight of his life with a man who he considered a close personal friend 10 seconds ago. Both Reiner and Eren put it all out there as they grapple and punch each other using new techniques and surprising strategies. It might be a long time before Attack on Titan tops this one. Well, unless Annie decides to wake up. Man, she's really taking a hell of a fame nap. Let's give her an award for that too, huh? And the award for the most complex anime fight scene goes to Jotaro vs. Dio, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders. There are a lot of accessible anime out there. You could pretty much drop into shows like Ghost in the Shell, SAC with no problem. Then there's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which prides itself on being a bit out there. It features a wide variety of interesting protagonists and quite a bit of lore. The best of the Joestars is undoubtedly Jotaro Kujo. If anyone had any doubt, his fight with Dio put all that to rest. This showdown with the immortal vampire and longtime Joestar nemesis was an epic sight to behold. It featured Jotaro's Star Platinum trading hits with Dio's The World. Things continue to get wild from there as time gets stopped and knives get stabbed into Jotaro. Their fight ends when Jotaro reveals that he has some time-manipulating powers of his own. Perhaps the most satisfying moment of the entire series is watching Dio crumble to pieces as Jotaro just watches with a blank stare. Sorry, Josuke, but you've got nothing on that. And now we have the award for Best Battle from a Supporting Character, which goes to Netero vs. Meruem, Hunter x Hunter. Man, Hunter x Hunter has been a wild ride. Who would have thought the anime's best fight would come from the characters Netero and Meruem? Both are fascinating and powerful characters in their own right. Meruem, the king of the Chimera Ants who struggled with the very nature of his own half-human existence on one side, Netero, the old warrior looking for one last fight to prove himself on the other. What follows is one of the most intense anime confrontations ever seen. In a lot of fights, you pretty much know who the winner's going to be leading into it. With this one, it was anyone's game. Things looked really dire once Meruem saw a hole in Netero's defense and managed to take his leg. That didn't stop the old man from delivering one final move that was basically the equivalent of dropping a nuke on the battlefield. When the dust cleared, it was ultimately the Hunter x Hunter fans who won. Let's also award this with the best fight song trophy too. I want that music to play in the background while I'm like getting groceries just to make it super epic. And the award for Best Fight from a New Series goes to Tanjiro vs. Rui, Demon Slayer. It's hard to remember the last time an anime released and was as instantly loved as Demon Slayer. 2019's late addition to the anime legend pantheon had fans in love with its bloody tale about family and what it means to be human. It was ultimately the Tanjiro vs. Rui fight that set the internet on fire. What won fans over was the moment where Tanjiro unleashed the dance of the fire god. Watching Tanjiro and Nezuko working together to finish Rui off was the high point of the whole season. They are the ultimate brother-sister tag team. Tell the truth, when Tanjiro sliced through Rui's head, you had to rewind and watch it again, didn't you? I definitely did. The coveted award for the best anime takedown goes to Mob vs. Koyama, Mob Psycho 100. Everyone loves a great showdown between two somewhat evenly matched foes. It creates an epic backdrop for the fight that really elevates the scene into greatness. Then there are the scenes where a mean guy just crosses the wrong hero and he gets taken down. These scenes are satisfying in a completely different way. That's why the scene between Mob and Koyama is so fantastic. Koyama messed with the wrong kid when he attacked Ritsu. Literally, he was attacking him instead of Mob. Once our hero arrived on the scene, the two got in quite the scuffle. Things got real when Mob hit 100% animosity. This led to him picking up Koyama, taking him high into the air and slamming him down into the ground. There's just no getting over how the cocky Koyama looks utterly helpless in Mob's grasp. Then the broken look on his face as he slammed into the concrete is just priceless. Of course, he had to ruin it all by cheating and getting away, but the guy's a jerk. What could you expect? And there you have it, all the awards for CBR's most insane anime fights of the decade. Which one was your favorite? Were there any you disagreed with? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to CBR for the next decade's best anime fights.